For decades, his name has been synonymous with superstars like Mary J. Blige and Sean Diddy Combs. Now, Andre Harrell is looking for the next big star.
Let's go. Welcome to Harrell Records.
I recently caught up with him at the studio. Thanks for spending some time with us today, brother.
My pleasure.
You can't talk about modern music, urban music, without talking about you. All the big names in the last 20 years, and many of the big names in the last 20 years, Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, you're connected to. Mm-hmm. How does that happen?
Well, I guess some of it was timing and some of it was luck, but I think I was a rap star. I was in a group called Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. So when I used to work for Russell Simmons as his VP, I wanted to do R&B. So I kind of bridged the culture, and I kind of bridged it with New Jack Swing.
When you started off with this group, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, you had some hits yourself. You had three pretty big hits.
Yep.
Genius Rap was my joint.
Thank you.
What made you leave being an artist to decide to go?
To be honest, what made me leave being an artist was I was a road manager when I was working for Rush, as well as being an artist. I took LL Cool J out to do a show in New Jersey when he had this on my radio. And when he got out there, he had screaming girl fans like New Edition, and he was singing about my radio. I was already singing about Rolexes and Bentleys. My album was called Champagne and Rap. Right. If I got to break it down and start singing about boomboxes, it's time for me to step to the back and push these other young guys forward.
And by 1986, you start Uptown.
I started Uptown. My first artist was Heavy D and the Boys. Hip-hop was becoming mainstream, and I wanted to put it with R&B. So anything or any artist that had an attitude and a style that kind of fit my ghetto fabulous hip-hop soul kind of thinking.
Another piece of this that you added to the equation was love. I mean, you brought the conversation about love
100%,
back.
100%. Well, I grew up on the Motown sound, and Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross, all they were singing was wanting love and love lost.
Right.
So I've always had love in the back of my mind, and I grew up with love. So like with Heavy D, the concept with him was like, let's take your eye off of his weight and put your eye more on his style and his heart and his swag. So when he was saying, I want somebody to love me for me. So that was always the concept, style and love and attitude.
And you gave us ghetto love too. You gave us like Jodeci, you gave us Mary. I remember Uptown Unplugged is still one of the classic albums and videos, you know, having Mary J. Blige and Casey singing. I mean, that's a great image. What happened to that stuff?
In the 80s, radio, black radio especially, was about rap. And there wasn't necessarily a lot of love in rap.
One of the things you mentioned earlier was Motown, sort of how the Uptown sound becomes a kind of response to Motown. And all the critics say Andre Harrell was in over his head. He knew how to manage Uptown. He knew how to do this urban thing. But once he got to the big, corporation, he couldn't handle it.
They knew me coming in the door that they were this far in the hall. And they could have said to me, well, we should do it this way. No, they couldn't get me if they had said that.
Right.
They had to tell me, I'm going to let you build the biggest record company
right.
you want to build.
Then you get there.
It takes 5 years to build it.
Yeah.
I was only there for 6 months before stuff started popping up in the papers.
And that's one of the reasons why you've always, most of the time, taken over your own corporations, your own ventures. And your new label.
My first group, Hamilton Park, 4 guys from Atlanta, were like 18, 19 years old. They are singing about love.
If you give me another chance to show you that I love you.
And I've heard some of the stuff, and it really is about love. And one of the things you're doing is the global talent search.
Correct.
People who have never, anywhere in the world can actually meet with Andre
I don't care
Harrell.
if you're from Africa, London, France, Australia, New Jersey, Kansas City, LA. You don't have to get on a plane. You don't have to pay for the hotel. You can just go on blazetrack.com, Andre Harrell, and you can have a real live meeting with me.
Wow.
With video response.
So you don't have any space for like a over-the-hill TV host who's looking to start his rap career?
No, that
Because I can do something.
I heard. I heard you're political. You got some Obama rap.
I got some political raps. I can do this. I can bring back old Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde flow
no, you
too.
can bring back Public Enemy.
You know what?
There you go.
See how he did that? He went from bringing me back to bringing Public Enemy back. That's smooth. That's why you're a record exec, man. Another opportunity you've taken up is the radio.
Yes, I have a radio show on 98.7 KISS.
It's Champagne and Bubbles, Sundays with Andre Harrell on 98.7 KISS FM.
What makes you go from doing all this other stuff to sitting every Sunday and doing a radio show?
Because all the information that I'm able to give my artists to get them to stand up strong and walk and run,
Yeah.
I felt like I should be telling the whole city this or a whole nation this. I play the classic 90s music, and I play all the new grown and sexy stuff. 98.7 KISS FM. That was just 112 with Only You.
A few years ago, in the midst of all your success, you suddenly had a major health crisis. What happened?
I had an infection in my blood that got to my heart, and it's called a valve surgery. And so when I went to the hospital, I went to Mount Sinai, they performed the valve surgery. It was a scary point, but I wasn't like in pain. I started texting my friends. I started texting Russell, and I was saying things to them like, if I never told you I love you before, I love you.
You get real emotional. People get real emotional when they go to surgery.
I texted Chris Rock when he was on his tour in London and said something similar to Puff about 4:30 in the morning. And Puff was the last one I sent it to because I was like, okay, I got to manage his response. And 10 minutes at 4:30 in the morning, he comes walking in the hospital talking about, this is my father, what's going on in here?
Well, that speaks to the love you have in the industry as well. Everyone says good things about you. There are a lot of people in this business who've been in as long as you have but don't have the kind of reputation.
It really wasn't just about the business. It was about giving black people opportunity.
Well, there it is. He is a lover, a producer, and one of the great icons in music history, Andre Harrell.
Thank you.